In a world that never stops moving, where everyone is speaking louder, rushing faster, chasing trends, and trying desperately to be seen, you must choose something different. Something quieter, something stronger. Choose calm, choose fearlessness. Choose the path of the builder, the one who moves alone, not out of weakness, but out of power. Because while the world shouts, you will learn to listen. While others seek noise, you will find silence. Oh, and in that silence, you will discover what most people run from, the raw, unfiltered truth of who you are. That truth is not always pretty. It's not always easy, but it is yours, and in it lies your strength. Being calm does not mean being passive. It does not mean you lack passion or ambition. On the contrary, calm is what allows the fire to burn longer. It is the discipline behind the drive, the stillness behind the storm. Calmness is the choice to respond, not react. It's the decision to think before you act, to breathe before you speak, and to hold the line when the world tries to shake you. To be calm in chaos is to become the eye of the storm. While others crumble under pressure, you sharpen. While they drown in distractions, you rise in focus. The calm are not emotionless. They are composed. They are grounded. And that grounded presence, that ability to stand tall while others fall apart, is what makes people take notice. It is what makes you feared. Now, fear is not about intimidation through aggression or dominance. It's not about barking louder than others or forcing your will. Real fear, the kind that lasts, is built on respect. It's built when people realize they cannot rattle you, when they know you do not play by the rules of desperation, when they see that you don't need validation because you've already claimed your identity. Fear is born when your work speaks louder than your words, when your name carries weight not because you demand it, but because you've earned it through consistency, through commitment, through absolute clarity of purpose. You become feared not because you talk about doing the work, but because you do it, quietly, relentlessly, without permission. And here's the part most people don't want to hear. To get there, you will need to walk alone. You will need to learn how to build when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when no one is offering you help, guidance, or comfort. Because the most meaningful things, the real dreams, the world-shifting ideas, the identity you're trying to forge, are not built in crowds. They are born in solitude. You will wake up early when others are sleeping and build. You will stay up late when others are celebrating and build. You will sacrifice comfort, applause, even friendships at times, not because you are heartless, but because you are focused. Because you understand that anything worth having demands something most people are not willing to give: silence, patience, and ruthless dedication. You must get comfortable with discomfort, with feeling like a ghost in a world that wants you to be loud. You must get used to being misunderstood, criticized, even mocked. Because when you choose to build alone, people will assume you've lost your way. They will try to talk you out of your dream, not because they hate you, but because your courage threatens their comfort, because your silence highlights their noise, because your discipline reflects their distraction. But you must stay the course. You must remember that the greatest thinkers, warriors, artists, and leaders in history all walked alone at some point. Before they were known, they were unknown. Before they were followed, they were ignored. But they kept building, in the shadows, in the silence, when it was hard, when it was thankless, when it made no sense to anyone but themselves. And one day the world noticed. But make no mistake, this is not about recognition. This is not about glory. This is about becoming who you were meant to be. That version of you that exists beyond fear, beyond doubt, beyond the need for approval. The version that can only be forged in the crucible of solitude. The one who doesn't need to explain themselves because their work, their presence, their energy speaks volumes. There will be days when the loneliness bites, when the weight feels too heavy, when you question whether it's worth it. In those moments, don't look outward, don't seek rescue. Sit with it, face it. Let the doubt come, but do not let it stay. Let it teach you, then let it go. Because every great builder knows pain is part of the process, loneliness is part of the journey, but giving up, that is never an option. You weren't meant to be average. You weren't built to blend in. You were designed to create, to carve your path, to build what only you can build. But you cannot do that while trying to please everyone. You cannot do that by seeking comfort. You cannot do that while waiting for permission. So be calm, let the world tremble, but not you. Let them scream while you strategize. Let them burn out while you endure. Be feared not by instilling terror, but by becoming a force so focused, so committed that people realize you cannot be stopped, distracted, or broken, and build alone. Not forever, but for now. Build in the dark so your legacy can shine in the light. Build when it's hard. Build when it's quiet. Build when no one believes in you, because eventually they will. You don't need a crowd. You don't need applause. You don't need permission. All you need is within you, the stillness to remain calm, the strength to be feared, and the discipline to build day after day, moment after moment, until what was once invisible becomes undeniable. This is not just a mindset. It is a way of life. It is a decision you make every day. To rise when it's easier to rest, to focus when it's easier to scroll, to believe when it's easier to quit. It's the path of the builder, the calm, the feared, the alone. And it belongs to those who are willing to embrace the fire and walk through it with grace, grit, and unshakable vision. So walk it, not someday, not when it's easy, not when they believe in you. Walk it now. Be calm, be feared, build alone. There's a storm that never stops brewing around us, a storm of opinions, noise, judgment, comparison, chaos. It never quiets. It's always asking you to react, to join the rush, to compete for attention, to validate yourself with applause you didn't ask for and don't need. And most people do. They get swept into the noise, shaped by the winds of public approval, led by the demands of the crowd. But not you. You are something different, something rare. You were never meant to join the noise. You were meant to rise above it. And to do that, you must master the first and hardest lesson. Be calm. Being calm is not the absence of movement. It's the presence of control. It's the ability to feel 1,000 things and act on none until you've thought clearly. It's the refusal to let the world dictate your rhythm. Calmness is the superpower of the few who have nothing to prove but everything to create. While others scream to be seen, you will speak through your silence. While they crave the moment, you will build for the legacy. You don't need to react to everything. You don't need to explain yourself. The calm don't broadcast their plans. They execute them. The calm don't entertain every battle. They choose the ones that matter. And they always win because they never waste energy on things that don't build. That's your power. When the world tries to provoke you, you stay centered. When things go wrong, you don't crumble. You analyze. You adjust. You rise. Vote. Calm is how you hold on to your vision when everything around you tries to blur it. And as your calm deepens, something else happens. The world starts to notice, but not in the way they notice noise. Not in the way they notice a shout. They notice because they can feel it. A quiet intensity, an unmistakable presence. They begin to realize that you are not like them, that you are not moved by gossip, distraction, or empty praise. And that's when they begin to fear you. But not the kind of fear that comes from intimidation or arrogance. No, real fear. The kind of fear that's born from mystery, from respect, from the unshakable truth that you are different, that your life is driven by something deeper than attention, that your purpose isn't borrowed, it's built. Fear comes when you walk into a room and say nothing, and still everyone feels your fire. When your silence says more than their words, when your results speak louder than their excuses. And it's not because you're trying to dominate, it's because you've become undeniable. The feared are not loud. They are lethal. Their discipline scares people. Their obsession is intimidating. Their stillness is unsettling. Because when the world is obsessed with moving fast, the one who moves with precision becomes a threat. When everyone is busy copying each other, the one who builds from within becomes unstoppable. But here's the truth. Nobody wants to talk about. That kind of power isn't given. It's forged. And it's forged in the loneliest place on earth, inside your own grind, in the hours when no one watches, no one believes, and no one cares. That's where real builders live. That's where they're made. Alone. To build alone is to trust your vision more than the opinions of others. It's choosing purpose over popularity. It's waking up with a mission and going to bed with progress, regardless of whether anyone notices. You must fall in love with the isolation, not because it's fun, but because it's necessary. Not because it feels good, but because it builds you. Every hour you work in silence, every day you stay disciplined when you could give up, every sacrifice you make when no one thanks you. It all compounds, quietly, unseen, until one day the world realizes you've become something they can't ignore. And when that day comes, people will tell stories about you. They'll act like they knew, like they always believed. But you'll know the truth. That when you were in the dark, they were laughing. When you were silent, they were doubting. When you were building, they were busy watching others. That's the price of doing something great. That's the price of becoming feared. Not because you demanded it, but because you refused to be ordinary. Most people quit in the silence. They give up when the feedback disappears. They lose focus when the room is empty. But you won't. Because you understand something they don't. Silence is the soil of greatness. Solitude is where legends are born. You don't build strength when things are easy. You build it when it hurts, when it's lonely, when it's you against the mirror and the only voice pushing you forward is your own. This isn't just about success. This is about transformation. You're becoming someone new, someone sharper, someone stronger, someone dangerous but with discipline, someone fierce but with grace. And the process is uncomfortable. It will test you. It will strip away everything fake, everything weak, everything that doesn't belong. That's why most people run. That's why they settle for average, because building alone is a brutal teacher, but it's the only one that can build the version of you that the world will one day respect. You are not late. You are not behind. You are simply in the part of the story where the crowd is gone and the work begins. Do not fear this part. This is the foundation. This is the forge. This is where you stop pretending and start becoming. You may be alone now, but you're not lonely. You're focused. You're working. You're evolving. And when it's time, when your work is ready to be revealed, you will not need to introduce yourself. The world will already know, because your results will speak for you. Your presence will walk into rooms before you do. Well, that's what happens when you build in silence. That's what happens when you become calm, become feared, and build alone. So don't chase the noise. Don't beg to be seen. Let them doubt you. Let them overlook you. Let them talk. You stay calm. You sharpen your mind. You feed your discipline. You build systems, habits, rituals that shape you into something unbreakable. You don't flinch when things get hard. You lean in. You don't quit when it's quiet. You double down. Let them be loud. Let them be seen. You'll be felt. And that presence earned through solitude, sharpened by calm, and delivered without apology. That's what will make you unstoppable. That's what will make you feared. You don't owe anyone a performance. You owe yourself a legacy. So be calm, be feared, build alone, again, and again, and again, and again. Until the silence becomes strength. Until the solitude becomes sanctuary. Until you no longer need to say a word, because your life screams excellence without uttering a sound. You know who you are. Now go build what only you can.